Imagine being completely unbeatable, the greatest warrior alive, the strongest soldier in Greece, the guy nobody wanted to fight. Then, one tiny mistake ends your entire legend. This is the story of Achilles. And before we begin, one quick disclaimer. Achilles comes from Greek mythology, primarily Homer's Iliad and later Greek legends. While many historians believe there may have been a real conflict at Troy during the late Bronze Age, there's no evidence Achilles himself actually existed. So today, we're telling one of the greatest stories ever written. Achilles was born to King Peleus and the sea goddess Thetis. According to later Greek mythology, his mother wanted to make him invincible, so she dipped him into the river Styx. The magical river said to grant invulnerability. The only place the water didn't touch was the heel she held him by, which is where we get the phrase Achilles' heel, a tiny weakness that could bring down even the strongest person. As Achilles grew older, it became obvious he wasn't normal. He was faster, stronger, a better fighter than anyone else in Greece. Some legends even say a prophecy claimed he had two choices: live a long, peaceful life and be forgotten, or die young, but become famous forever. Achilles chose glory. Honestly, that's one of the biggest main character decisions in mythology. When Paris of Troy took Helen from Sparta, the Greeks prepared for war. Achilles joined the expedition led by Agamemnon, and once the fighting began, he became an absolute nightmare for the Trojans. Everywhere Achilles went, people died. At one point, the Trojans were so terrified of him that they retreated behind the walls of Troy just because they knew he was coming. Imagine being so good at your job that the enemy refuses to leave their house. But Achilles wasn't just powerful, he also had a massive ego. Near the end of the war, Agamemnon took Briseis, a woman Achilles had been awarded after battle. Achilles was furious, so he quit. In the middle of the biggest war in Greece, imagine LeBron James walking off the court during the NBA Finals because he got into an argument with his coach. That's basically what happened. Without Achilles, the Greeks started losing fast. Then tragedy struck. Achilles' closest friend, Patroclus, entered battle wearing Achilles' armor to inspire the Greek army. It worked, until Hector, the greatest Trojan warrior, killed him. When Achilles found out, he completely snapped. He returned to battle, challenged Hector to a duel, and defeated him. Then, in one of the most famous moments of the Iliad, he tied Hector's body to his chariot and dragged it around the walls of Troy. Yeah, revenge got the better of him. Not long afterward, Achilles met his own fate. According to later tradition, Paris fired an arrow that struck Achilles in his heel, his only vulnerable spot. Some versions say the god Apollo guided the arrow, others don't. Either way, the greatest warrior in Greek mythology was brought down by the one place he wasn't protected. So, did any of this actually happen? Probably not exactly as the myths describe. The story of Achilles is filled with gods, prophecies, and magic, but the city of Troy was real, and many historians think these legends may have been inspired by a real conflict over 3,000 years ago. Whether Achilles existed or not, his story has survived for thousands of years, not because he was invincible, but because it reminds us that no matter how powerful someone becomes, everyone has an Achilles' heel.